Hey there, Ingrid. Let's see, and Philip. Hey, Chris, Stacy, Javin. Good to have you all here. Give it 1 minute while folks are arriving. So, why don't I'll just do a little introduction here, and then Ingrid, I'll turn it over to you basically. So, yeah, good to see you all here. Happy to have you. This is our session with Ingrid Lill, life coach with a pencil. And
business coach.
Ingrid's going to be doing this work around how do you visually represent your work? How do you take these ideas that are so complicated that are hard to convey to people, and how do you convey that through imagery? This is very central to my work around point of view marketing, is how do you visually represent what you do? This is very important in sales letters, clearly communicating your idea. If you do an intro workshop, if you're being interviewed, even the ability to describe an image that could, lay out what you do in your point of view, it's really important. And so people often, they struggle with the words forever and ever and ever, and then just one image can tidy it all up. So Ingrid is, of course, a member in our membership, and has graciously, very kindly donated this session. So let's all make the best of it. I'll put she posted this, some of you just joined. She has a template that you can download, print, and draw along if you'd like to. So there's that. And so with that, I'll just turn it over to Ingrid, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to share this with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm delighted to do this here. And I would be also happy, as you are allowed to say something, Ted. I would be happy if you comment, and I want your input also here. So, how do I start? Can I share my screen? No. Can you let me share the screen?
This is how all the coups start.
There
is a button at the bottom of the screen that says share screen.
And there's a little triangle.
I made her a co-host, and so it's good now. Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Ingrid. I'm in Denmark, and I share my screen now. I have a website called lillbranding.com, and you can go there and read about me, because I want to keep my introduction very short so we have time to do the workshop. But very short. So this is my website here. I used to be a graphic designer, and I'm now doing also graphic design, but I've specialized in this business storyboarding. A little story why I became a designer is because I love drawing. And what I did for a long time is people came to me and said, I need a website, and I just made a website, and it became boring, and sometimes it didn't make sense. I do like graphic design, so here's a little bit of my work. I like doing websites. I don't like to do the boring stuff. And before I started marketing myself, I just did everything that came along, and that was terrible. And these are the better things. But it was only when I decided that now I want to take my life in my own hands and steer what jobs I want. I needed to market myself, and I found that it's much easier when I had one thing that I sold, which I wanted to be something with drawing. So I stumbled across this figuring out your message with my pencil thing. And so now I'm solving a problem instead of just doing what my clients want. So I'm stepping in a little earlier in the whole process. I don't just want to make a website. I want to make a website that makes sense. This is how my storyboards look, but the looks aren't the important thing. The important thing is the structure. And before, my website was like this. I was showing off my portfolio, and I was the hero. Well, now this was for a company, that's because it's a man. And an undefined target group audience. What I'm doing now is a story-based website or approach. And this is also what Ted is teaching. That's basically this from island A to island B. So the customer is the hero. He has a problem, is in pain. You are the pilot, and you're catapulting them into paradise, more or less. And on a website, this looks like this. So you can translate the storyboards directly into a website. Do you want this, but you feel like this? My service can help you. And I know that because, and then you give some reasons why you have the skills and the empathy to help them. And then you can emphasize, if you don't act, bad things might happen, and testimonials and some more stuff. So this is how I built my my website, and it's loosely inspired by Donald Miller's Story Brand book, but also other things, others. And so this was a very short introduction. This here is the template that you can download, and it looks like this. And you can also use it afterwards for all your projects. On the left side, this is basically island A, where you draw or scribble or whatever your client. You can define the enemy if you can, and the worst case, the outer problems, the feelings, and also what's wrong with the world. This here is the very important point of view piece, the philosophical one. What is wrong with the world that this fantastic person could end up in a place like this? Then, I mean, this is a little simplified version. Then this here is your product or service. And I usually I break it down in a 1, 2, 3 step, which then I sometimes, if it can be, I translate it into another form. But the easiest thing to start with is to make a 1, 2, 3 thing. First step, this, and the second step. This here is, you are the guide, the pilot, and here we paint a picture of paradise. And then once you have this, you can translate it into a website or into videos and whatever. So it's not so much the visuals that are the important thing here. So you don't have to make pretty visuals. It's the structure that is the important thing. So you get clear about what you are offering. And the interesting part is often, now let's go to this here, to not confuse the how. You get what you're doing with the benefits. And that's where the spatial thing really helps me. And when I talk with somebody, then I often just sort what they're saying into these 3 buckets. And I don't want to say,
what are the 3 buckets?
The 3 buckets is island A. What is it before? This is the how, what you're doing. No, here's what you're doing. And here is the benefits, the outcome.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, in my language, I would say, yeah, island A, it's the problem, premise, promise.
Yeah.
It's relevance, credibility, value, the empathy, context, guidance, in a way. You're saying, yeah, here's where you are, right? Here's my point of view, my philosophy, my perspective on the way to get to island B, and then here's island B. Here's what that would look like.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, often this is also just a very practical plan. It's not everybody has a point of view, but everybody has a procedure, and sometimes I don't even know if I have a point of view. I mean, I do. I have a special tool, right. And I also have a view on that. Story-based websites are better than just putting everything out there and then hope. So
yeah, well, and I would say that it's interesting in terms of the point of view work that I do. The point of view pyramid, that center step is the tip of the point of view pyramid, which is the route, which is the procedure, which are here are the 3 to 7 steps. And then the deeper point of view work is where you say, basically, why do you do what you do the way you do it? Like, why 3 steps? What are the premises that underlie it? What's the map of the whole thing that underwrites all of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes in a long session, I dig down into this, but we'll see how far we come today. So are there any volunteers here?
Oh,
who wants to try it out? Here is my... If nobody says yes, then we pick Ted.
We're not going to do me. We got Anne and Kathy both said yes. So let's start with Anne. Leadership training with horses as teachers for corporate.
That sounds great. Oh, I love that. I used to draw horses when I was young. Nothing but horses. So Anne, can you somehow get visible on my...
Yeah, you just have to unmute yourself. And then just start talking, Anne.
Hello. Say something. No?
Anne, you got about 10 seconds and we're gonna move. There you are.
Yeah, here you are. Great.
Hi.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're filling in this template and see how far we come. And you can use, the others who are drawing along can just use pen and paper and draw their own business instead.
Yeah, I really recommend everyone, as this is happening, as Ingrid's leading Anne through this, take out pen and paper and do this with your own business. Really, play along.
So then it's not the hero, but the guide. You know the way. And this little portrait here is totally unnecessary. But it's fun to have. So this is you. Mm-hmm. So who is your client? Who are you working with?
Well, groups in corporate.
Groups?
So, groups. So they will come 6 to 8 people.
Okay. Oh, it's many. Yes. Corporate. So yeah. They look kind of it's men and women, I guess.
Yeah. And they're all very casual when they come here because it's a farm.
Yeah, but we are not yet there. We're not yet at your place.
Okay, yeah.
So right now we have a group here.
Yeah.
Corporate. And who's paying for this?
HR, I would say, or the CEO if it's a smaller company.
Okay, and why do they? Why? What's their problem?
Most come for team building, so they have a problem with what do you say? People are not getting along, or they have a new manager maybe who wants to, they want to integrate.
Yeah. So how does their everyday look? So if they don't have a problem, if everybody is getting along and stuff, then they wouldn't hire you. Or maybe as an extra.
Yeah, no, if we take team building and they are not getting along, maybe that's the easiest one. So they have a problem somewhere, maybe two people don't get along and that, brings bad vibes to the whole department.
Okay, and what are they typically doing? Working and as what? They're sitting with salespeople, or what kind of?
Yeah, they are at a desk with a computer.
Yeah.
I don't have just one type of company, so, but they are in the office, not manufacturing stuff.
Is there anything common to them? A common problem to the people who? Now let's take your ideal client, the ones that get most out of working with you.
Well, I would say it's this case where they want to solve discrepancies or people not getting along.
And why are they not getting along?
I would say because they don't understand each other's driving forces, and they get worked up. Usually because the other person is very alike themselves. So
very alike. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do they think about?
Well, they get annoyed. They don't realize that they are actually projecting their own problem or their own personality on the other person.
Okay, and that's good to know. So we don't write that. So what do they think?
They think the other people are stupid.
Okay. Is this how they would say it?
Not stupid. No, maybe they would say annoying or too dominant or.
Okay, she's just annoying. Too annoying. And what does she think?
She probably thinks just the same.
Yeah, I want to collect a few sentences that they would say that they would say in their office every day.
She would probably say that he is too dominant, a bit male chauvinistic.
And I guess Oh, there's some echo here. Where's this coming from?
Oh.
I guess the CEO who is paying for the session, he is most interested in having a good, effective work climate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
because-
can you say maybe something that is why they're not working as effectively as?
Well, because she would probably be at home sick or almost overwhelmed. So the CEO knows that, you know, they will lose money.
Yeah, okay.
If they can't solve it.
Yeah. And maybe we draw the CEO here. And what is it he's seeing here?
He's seeing that he's losing money. And of course, he doesn't want his staff to be ill and overwhelmed and burnt out.
Yeah. Where's this? Is this me? Can I do something about this echo?
It's definitely not on my side. I've got myself muted, so it may be.
Maybe, and you can turn it a little bit down.
And you know, actually, if both of you put on earphones, that
haven't got any.
Yeah, that would be good. But my earphones are short when I'm drawing. I'll try it.
And do you have any earphones?
No, I haven't, but I can't hear the echo.
Yeah, I can hear there's little rumbling. And maybe one of these things also will help if you mute yourself when you're not talking. That may help.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. So what did he say? This is not working smoothly in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Something about scared of losing money. Like I'm
Yeah,
losing money, right?
yeah, because it costs a lot when people are home. I mean, if they get burnt out, it's a very long process to get them back at work.
Too expensive. Oops. Expensive.
At least in Sweden, it's a big problem now with burnt out people, and it's costing a fortune.
Yeah, so I draw a little fire here. So this is not the finished copy, but these are the pain points. And I would also add a little bit about how the work isn't going smoothly, that all this is affecting, it's expensive and affecting the bottom line. You probably have to speak to both, to the CEO and to the people, right? Because if they don't think it's attractive, then they don't want to do team building either.
Yeah, and the CEO will probably not come. He's paying, but he's not coming. So
yeah,
he's not going to be part of the team when they come to us.
Mm-hmm. And this is a little bit if somebody else is paying, then the ones who are receiving it, then it can get tricky. So yeah. So they are the general. This is the outer circumstances. Then we have the feelings is frustrated, I guess.
Mhm.
What else? Angry.
Angry, sadness.
Okay, that's enough for now. But now let's go to the philosophical part. How could it happen that they ended up? These are all good people, right? They are, yeah. How could they end up in this situation where there's fire and all this smoke and fog and muddiness? So the whole thing here is unclear and tangled in a way, tangled. How could they end up in this situation?
I would say stress.
Yeah, this is a feeling also.
Mm.
What is wrong with our society that this could happen?
That we don't listen to each other. We don't talk. We just work. And I think yeah, and corporate don't talk about feelings. It's not very common to talk about feelings. So they hide their feelings.
Okay, so the big misconception is that professionals don't talk about feelings.
Mm.
And, you know, and I would just also dig in deeper. Why don't professionals talk about feelings? What's happening in our culture? What's happening in our society that professionals don't do that?
Yeah. And I think also they don't really understand, because when we start to...
Let's just pause.
Yeah.
I'm actually asking that question of you.
Yeah. And I don't think they understand feelings.
But why?
If someone is angry, they don't really see that maybe it's sadness. It's not anger.
Right. And so again, pushing deeper, why do we as a society why are we not emotionally literate?
And I also say it's uncomfortable, because if you ask someone and they start to cry, it's uncomfortable.
Right, but there are societies where they're not uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
So why in our culture?
In our society, yeah. I think also it's about the stress. We don't really have time. I mean, if you sit down with someone and talk about feelings, it would take some time. It's easier just to go to your room and work.
So what I'm hearing partly is that our society values efficiency over emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
isn't this the residue, or what is still there from the Industrial Revolution?
Right.
Could be.
Like a mechanical view of the universe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my idea to it. Is this something you have been thinking about, or you might think is interesting?
Yeah, it could be. Yes. I mean, we don't, and at least in Sweden, people are not religious. We don't talk about God, or we don't talk about spiritual things, or and I think that's an underlying problem.
How so?
Because if you start to talk about spiritual things, you are talking about what's going on inside, and that's also it's the same. It takes time. It's easier just to.
Is there something, what do you see as the connection between this lack of, there's a kind of atheism, maybe there's a lack of
Yeah.
spirituality, and so are you saying you see a connection between a worldview that's atheist fundamentally in orientation and this difficulty with emotions? It's something to do with there's an internal, and is there some, like, you don't see other people as divine then, like you don't see any meaning in life? I'm just curious how you would make that connection.
I think if you meet them outside the office, they will speak about it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So it's the professionals.
Yeah, when they are at work, because I mean, when I talk to them more privately, they will speak about it, but not most of them say, oh, I could never say this at work.
Well, and so part of what I hear there is there's one of the cultural things that's going on is a separation between work life and private life.
Yeah,
Those things have become divided. I'm a different person at work than I am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing I would lift up for everyone is this kind of digging in of what befell a people that this is happening. Whatever the symptom is that you help people with, what's the larger cultural context? How did we get here? You know, it's important to dig into this. It's very compelling stuff. Also, even just from a marketing standpoint, people are so curious, like, yeah, why are we so messed up in this way? Why don't we talk to you? Why does the corporate office feel so bad to be in? Why don't we share our emotions? Why don't we talk about our feelings?
So it is as if they have their heart is outside the door.
Yeah. Because I talked to one HR manager, and she suddenly said, you know, I'm a healer and I never talked about this with anyone. I said, okay. And she would never say that at work, that she could actually give them healing.
Yeah. So is it, could you say that the work life isn't as evolved as they are in private, that they are stuck in mechanical thinking from the Industrial Revolution, where everything is like clockwork, and at home and outside? I think I would make this distinction between inside the office and outside, because you're an outside person, and this is where your healing comes in.
Yeah.
So they are in a prison, in the corporate prison here, and oh, this is not very pretty. So this here is well, maybe I have to draw it again. We make a little window, and the sun is shining outside, which is symbolizing the evolved, the whole and where the heart and the light is and everything. And they are stuck in this prison and can't get out because for some reason somebody says professionals have to work like clockwork. Yeah, I mean, all this scheduled timetable stuff that comes from factory work, and we know that it's not effective anymore in our society. Stuck in how did we say, corporate prison? Or in a mechanical worldview. I don't know if mechanical is the right word.
Or at least science-based.
Science-based, yeah, but it's also an old-fashioned science.
Mm.
Maybe fast-paced or something like that.
Mm. Philip asked about if it's the CEO, and of course, if the CEO is more open to talk about feelings and spiritual stuff, of course, it's easier for everyone.
Yeah. Well, you have to somehow leverage that he wants to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
and then, yeah. Okay, so this is not really worked through, but I think you have something here.
Mm-hmm.
So now we take this whole thing and put it over here and make them happy. Because we have the same people here. But I hope they feel better now. It's still in the workplace, they still have to be efficient and stuff. But how do they look now?
Yeah, they look happier.
It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
And now, are they maybe closer together or what?
I would say so, yes.
And I will turn him around so
Mm-hmm.
they are facing each other, maybe reaching out. So he looks like he's happy about what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciation, is this one of the things that happen?
Yeah, yeah. And also more understanding for the other people.
Better workflow?
Yeah.
And more money for the company. I mean, you know what all the benefits are. It's no more sick leave. Or what's it called in English?
And I think also maybe he understands it's not just more money, it's better relationships, happier people. And he values that. And he sees new qualities in the people.
And maybe they all do.
Yeah.
What did I? No more sick leave or less?
Less, at least.
And you know what? We draw a few birds here because everything is lighter. And now the sun is shining inside of them. And did something substantially change in their? I mean, here they are caught in a prison, and maybe they're all also in their own bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like they're separate from each other.
Mm.
And here it's more like happy
Yeah.
vibes going through.
Mhm.
And what, so they feel better, they work better. Did something happen on a different plane, like spiritual also? I don't know.
Yeah, and I usually see how much their private life, their family life, means to their work life as well. Like they can't actually separate them. They have to understand that, you know, someone's family life will affect their work life. So if they get a better understanding for each other.
Okay. And how are you doing that?
Oh, here's where the horses come in.
Okay, I'll draw a horse. Horse.
Horse, yes.
What is the horse doing?
Well, why we have horses as teachers is because they don't value anyone. They have never a hidden agenda. And also people take advice from a horse in another way than they do from a person. If they are doing an exercise and I can ask them questions about, say, for instance, frustration, because I can see on the horse that the person is frustrated. If I told them or asked them, are you frustrated? They were probably even more frustrated. But if I say, the horse is showing here, you know, she's showing you something, could it be maybe that you are? And they would say, yeah. And they slow down and they start to breathe. And the horse, of course, responds immediately.
Of course.
So,
I mean, you're very familiar with this. I'm not. I have never heard about horses as business coaches or as life coaches. So you have
they are really good.
So you have to explain it a little better.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like the horse is some kind of. I mean, you're the translator.
I'm the translator, and the horse mirrors you. So if you are say, for instance, if you are afraid of a horse and pretends that you are brave, the horse will feel that you are not authentic and will show it either by going away or starting to walk around. Then it's up to me to try to translate what's happening. And as soon as the person acknowledges that he or she is actually afraid and say it, the horse will calm down.
It's a mirror. It's also, it's like a sensing. What how do you call
Yeah,
it?
they sense your feelings.
A sense. What is the word for that? Like a thermometer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a different word that we could use?
That's easy to understand.
A horse is like a thermometer.
Yeah.
No.
They're like a weather vane.
Like a barometer.
Barometer is better. Yes. Yeah.
But they are actually a mirror as well, because they will do what you are feeling.
Mirror, yeah. So this here is your tool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can use both words, mirror and barometer. This is your toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
And How is your process?
You mean like having a workshop or?
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, so they come here for a full day.
This is your favorite service or product.
Yeah. So we never do, you know, less than 6-8 hours or something.
Mm-hmm. And you start with what?
We start with, you know, telling them a bit about why we have horses as teachers, so they know a bit about the philosophy.
And the philosophy is that the horses are
Yeah, that-
therapeutic.
yeah.
That they mirror you. Yeah.
Yeah, an expert at feelings of, or emotional agility, we call it.
Emotional agility.
Hmm.
Is the name of the workshop?
No, we can, no, we don't have just one name for the workshop. Depends on what they want or need.
It would be, you don't have a name at all? For,
Yeah, we have a name, but you know, it could be different names. So
but what is your name right now?
I have it in Swedish.
Yeah, say it in Swedish then.
No, I can't think of a name just now. No,
But the thing, it's important to have a name.
it's important. Okay.
I
Do
mean,
you know
if
Swedish? You know a bit Swedish. Låt hjärtat vara med.
No,
Let
that was
your heart be, you know, whatever.
heart. Did you say heart?
Yeah.
Heart.
What is the best translation you can give us from Swedish of the title of the
Or heartfelt communication, maybe?
And you don't have horses in the name somehow. Are you also doing stuff without horses?
No. No, they're always with us.
So that might be worth thinking a little bit about it to really come up with a great memorable name for.
Yeah.
Because everybody's offering heart-based stuff, but not everybody is offering horse-based stuff. And so first an introduction, and then
they will meet the horses. We have something called meet the herd.
Excuse me?
Meet the herd.
The herd. This is maybe an interesting word to play with.
Wait, is that is that herd?
Herd, yes, yeah. Okay. The herd of horses.
Meet the herd. This is the. Are they also afraid of horses? Is that?
Yes, some are. Some are. Yeah, some are very afraid of horses.
Yeah, face your reaction, face your fears. Get reactions and get yeah. Or face, meet the herd and meet your emotions. Isn't that what's happening?
I'll call it emotional agility with horses.
Yeah, but the first phase.
Sorry.
The first step.
Yeah, the first step is meet the herd, where they meet the horses.
And what happens there in the first?
That's where the horses check them out and see which one.
What happens with the humans?
They are going inside the stable and they are meeting the horses. The horses are in the stalls.
Yeah, and what happens with themselves, with their?
We ask them to open up to use their intuition, and they calm down.
Okay,
Because they're usually very nervous when they come.
So yeah, so this is the outer thing, meet the herd, and the inner thing is
intuition, calmness, mindfulness.
Receive calmness, or face your fears, whatever emotions are.
We don't
Isn't
talk
it?
very much about fears because that's not really.
Yeah. Okay.
It's more about de-stressing.
Yeah. Okay. Receive calmness then.
Mm.
What is happening then?
And then we have different exercises during that day.
Yeah.
So it could be group exercises where they set a goal, and so the path to your goal is one exercise.
The path, what?
Your path to your goal.
With the horses?
Yeah.
So how does it look?
We have, say for instance, the chair, that's their goal. And then we have cones or poles like for obstacles. So they are setting their goal, and then they are naming the 2 obstacles to reach the goal.
Okay.
So it's like an obstacle course. How do you mean, Ted?
And
Those
this is
for later.
Yeah.
Getting clear. I think we have to stop soon, because I would also like to hear from the others if there are other insights. But we can continue with this another day. and the third is probably that they and what is the third? Is there some kind of breakthrough?
Yeah. So this is where they all unite and happy ever after.
What I would like to do here is what is happening on the outside and what is happening on the inside here.
Yeah,
And
okay.
and then sometimes I draw if there's something a breakthrough feeling here. Where how do they know that something has shifted? Because this is also something that imagine how it would feel like if you can you name a breakthrough feeling? Maybe
Success. They feel very powerful when they reach their goal, and they manage to do it with the horse. Empowered.
Why do they feel so powerful to have reached a goal with a horse?
Because they don't lead the horse. The horse is loose, so the horse is one of them, and they have to be very concentrated. They have to show the horse without touching the horse, without speaking to the horse, how to reach the goal. So they have to be together as a group, because if they aren't together as a group, the horse will just, go somewhere else.
When you say
So
together, when you say together as a group, do you mean them and the horse, or all the horses? Okay, so they have to be a team, basically.
Yeah, they have to be a team.
Yeah, super.
Because if they are not a team, the horse will just, do something else. So it's very revealing.
And does that insight that, oh wow, I have to really be in tune with this horse, I have to really be in touch with it, and the very subtle signals it's giving, is there a breakthrough in their mind where they say, oh, I need to take that into the office and be this sensitive with the people I'm working with?
Yeah, the thing is, they have to be together with the other people, not the horse, really, because if they are united and if they are in tune, the horse will follow them.
And but probably this is staying with them, this feeling.
Yeah.
on a maybe, I don't know if it's a conscious level, but once they have experienced it, they have experienced it.
Yeah, and it will get there on a conscious level, because they do realize, if I don't talk to that other person behind me, the horse will probably, go somewhere else. But if we start to talk, if we are together in this,
so
the horse will follow.
I would really emphasize these 3 things here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it.
Thank you.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Ingrid. Thank you, Anne, for volunteering.
Yeah.
So, Anne, maybe just start with you. I'd love to hear, was there anything that jumped out for you as sort of a new piece of clarity or any insight from this process?
Yeah, I would say a lot, really. I think that the first one that we did, to see that they are separating their work life and their private life. And these where you put the wheels.
Thank you. And Anne, I've sent you some images there in the chat. Some excerpts from this book, Bright Green Lies.
Okay.
And it's got a history of a fellow Frederick Taylor Winslow, who's actually the father of scientific management that was used in the Industrial Revolution.
Okay.
And I would recommend reading it, because my guess is your philosophy is a kind of antithesis to this.
Probably, yes.
Sometimes the best way we can articulate our point of view is you look at, well, what's happening in the dominant society that's causing this? It's like, okay, well, my view is different than that. So how?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would recommend reading it and just like, how do you see it differently than Frederick Taylor Winslow, who was a bit of a control freak? So anyways, that's there. Now I'd love to open it up to other people. What was your experience of seeing this process? Just any, it could be you have a thought for Anne, but also just a reflection for Ingrid or for us of just, how was that? What did you get out of this process? Any aha moments, any light bulbs? You can unmute yourself and speak, but just briefly, we'd just love to hear from you. What did you learn from that? Oh, and there are some questions too. Let me actually just scroll back up.
Where in this process with Anne does the philosophical box come into play? It's this here. How could it happen that good people like this are stuck in a situation like this here? What did go wrong, and what is wrong with the world? What is wrong with our society? It's like the bigger perspective.
And I'm curious also, Ingrid, why do you feel like that matters? I mean, it's like, why do we have to get all sociological and philosophical? Is it just marketing? We're just trying to sell people into a fucking horse workshop.
It's often a great headline for a website. That's why.
do you have any sort of off the top of your mind examples of this?
Brilliant professionals deserve to be set free from the clockwork of industrial whatever. Don't something like that. It's
right.
like
the point of view goes straight into the headline itself. Yeah,
and then of course it's also interesting just because it gives a deeper dimension to everything.
Mm.
Right. Yeah, I think I've also Suzanne Kohlberg, the weight loss coach, who some of you were at her session recently, what if we're overweight because we overgive? There's a similar kind of, you're taking it to a bigger, you're giving it a different twist. You're saying, here's my point of view on it right away.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you can, I love it. I mean, I like the idea of tying in the bigger sociological thing into.
Yeah. And by the way, now talking of the process here, this doesn't have to be a linear process. It can be, for example, a pyramid.
Yeah.
It can be that first you receive the calmness, then you reach clarity, or it could be something like this,
Right.
or it could be 3 overlapping things. So it's, I don't know what fits best to your thinking. It's like these are boxes that you can draw in a different place. But my process is linear. My process is
Right.
this, but it's fractal. So this here is also a thing like this, and it's like everything. It's a basic story frame, and it happens everywhere. So the world is made of stories, and you can break everything down in these 3 panel thing.
Yeah. Any other thoughts or reflections?
I just love to say, because Ingrid and I, it's Maria here. Ingrid and I did a session, it's a couple of weeks ago now, but there's something, if you do the session with Ingrid, there's something really transformational when she takes the people from the first box and she moves them over, and you can just feel it. You can actually feel, because she was actually doing it for me as my potential. She was using the process, and Ingrid will explain this better, but where I was now me is Island A, and future me is Island C as a possible way of working out clients. And I could just feel the relief of getting to where I wanted to be. It just transformed me. So I highly recommend the process. Thank you, Ingrid.
Oh, thank you, Maria.
Well, and one thing I'd like to say too is what's really potent about this, and that people miss all the time, and I invite you to all be thinking about your own business as I'm speaking about this. Island A and Island B have to be a flip of each other. They're the mirror of each other. And people often, they'll say, yes, I work with people who are stressed and I help them have great gardens. You know, it's like, it's kind of a disjuncture I've seen, where it's like there's no relationship between the problem you're solving and the results you're offering, or it's convoluted. There's so many things. And it should really be that simple, where you can just say, okay, here's Island A, and you draw it out. Here's all the people, and here's what they're saying to themselves, which is great marketing tips, by the way. That kind of, like, one of the best headlines I ever saw was, is your boss a psychopath? It's a very honest headline. People have that feeling. That's what they say to themselves, honestly. My boss is a fucking psychopath. So that's a great headline. So what they're saying to themselves, but then, right, then you take it over, and you move it over, and you say, okay, what's the transformation? What's the change? What's the result, the benefit that they self-servingly get as a result of this process in the middle? And so, yeah, it should be the kind of thing you can just click and drag over and like put some smiles on their face, and now they're saying different things to themselves, and now there's different results happening, and the environment looks different. Oh, there's not a window, now the sun is just, you know, all that kind of stuff is very helpful. And the other thing I'd say with the Island A for everyone is, and this, man, this can be gold. This can be really transform your marketing, is metaphorically, what is it like for them to be there? Now, Island A itself, that's a metaphor, but okay, so they're in an office, and what Ingrid, I think, very deftly picked up on is, aha, so there's this sun and their heart, like this is outside and they're stuck inside. So it's kind of like a prison. There's a, yeah. And if you can capture that, the Island A, what's the metaphor? It also informs the metaphor for Island B, you know? Like, okay, so if they feel like they're being buried alive on Island A, then what would Island B be? What's the opposite of that? Because in the metaphor, in the image, you can capture so much that you can't capture by just, you know, I don't know, trying to, you know, in a very analytical sense, break down the symptoms of the problem. So it's worth thinking about for your clients and their situation, what is it like? What would they say, or what do they say? Sometimes these things slip out of your clients' mouths. You know, my boss is a tyrant. That's a metaphor. You know, like so they're like a king who's in, you know, and then you get a whole thing, and you can explore it. But it's like, wow, tyrant, tell me more. Like, yeah, so are they like, yeah, a tyrant king? Are they a tyrant like dictator or something like this? Oh yeah, they're more like a dictator. Oh, okay. And yeah, where does the dictator live, and how do you, so you can start to really flesh that out. And then, yeah, what's the other side of that? What's this transformation? So yeah, so that was something I wanted to lift up. Any other thoughts?
About, may I ask about the process? Was it possible for the others to think about your own business while we were doing this, or could I have done that in a like?
I couldn't. I think we would have needed more time. Myself, I wasn't able to. I just got so fascinated in that. I think we would have needed to, like, okay, everyone pause and now go do this while I'm drawing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thought.
I mean, it's too short. Usually, this takes 3 hours.
Okay.
Full session.
And that, which is also, this is an important thing, you know, when we're articulating our packages, sometimes people leave details like this out. Say, oh, we're going to do a session, and then it's they forget to mention, oh, it's a 3-hour session. Oh, but I only booked an hour. Like, I've seen that kind of forgetfulness. And even when you're laying out the process, somebody might say 3 hours. I could never do 3 hours, and I'm not interested. So you filter those people out. You know, I have a friend who's a therapist, and she realized she didn't want to just do 1 hour sessions. She wanted to do 3-hour sessions with people. Like, we're gonna go for this. We're not gonna get, you know, close enough. And then, so
and it's actually a whole day that I'm spending with when I'm getting all the content right, because we don't have this here at all. And the whole backstory. How did you discover this, and what is your your reason to do this, and your connection with the whole thing, which is also important.
Yeah, very important. Which often shapes the island. People are like, I don't know who I help. I could help people with a lot of problems, and then you ask the magical question, what got you into this? And all of a sudden,
exactly,
the whole thing is there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, the thing I would invite you to do is certainly try just doodling this out on your own. You've got the template, so I would invite everyone to try doodling it out on their own. See what comes. See what you know, is helpful. If you feel stuck, you can you know, sit down with a friend. You know, show them this video and all this, and then of course you could hire Ingrid. Now, Ingrid, your website is
lillbranding.com.
right. Can you type that into the chat?
Yeah.
Spelling right. And here's the template again for those of you who missed it. Yeah, so I mean, Ingrid, just incredibly generous of you to share this with us. Really, there's a lot of things you could be doing with your time, and you've spent this time with us.
I love doing this.
I get it. I get it. It's like me with the puttering sessions. It's my favorite. I just.
Yeah, thank you, Ingrid. And now, I mean, I was so into it when we did it, so you know, it was difficult to grasp, but now it looks really clear.
Yeah,
I think so.
Great. I will put a little more shadow and colors on it and stuff.
Amazing. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And yeah, hopefully you've gotten a taste of what Ingrid does. If you feel stuck, I'm like, oh man, this would be great. You know, certainly you can work with her, which I would encourage and endorse. Ingrid, I resonated with, you know, all the parts of the process. I think this is a really beautiful, simple framework for people. Yeah, you know, I tend to go very, very deep and dig into this, and I think this is just so nice to see the kind of simplicity of what you've come up with. There's room for depth, but you've really mapped out the steps in a way that I haven't. And I just love it. I love what you're
up to. I got into it because otherwise I couldn't wrap my head around it, what to say about myself. So I had to map it out and draw it out. And then I understood it. That's exactly what you said before. I did it for myself.
Yeah, you know, the confused mind says no. And so it's the clarity. People get so misguided. They think, oh, the thing I need to get good at is selling and pitching. It's like, no, the first thing that we need to go deeper on is the clarity. What the hell is this? Who's it for? How do you do it? Why do you do it? All that stuff. When that's clear, the rest of the marketing is actually pretty easy. You have to do things, but it's pretty easy to implement. It's easy to figure out hubs. It's easy to come up with offers. It's easy to, all that stuff is a kind of almost a reflex after that. But this work that Ingrid is helping people do, this is where it starts. And it's very clear. I mean, I'm sure to Ingrid and I, and as she said, when she was designing the websites, it's like, I'll make your website, but this makes no sense what you're talking about. It's yeah, the need is to go deeper, and it's deeper on this. And
I mean, but it's not like the marketing goes by itself or happens by itself, because now I have to explain people why they need a brand store or a business storyboard if they never have heard that something like this exists, because
totally.
I have invented it.
Sure. It's just that when there's the clarity about all those things that Ingrid's just drawn out for Anne, you have the possibility of coming up with hubs, and you don't before this. There's no possibility for that. You actually now have the foundation for a package, and without it, you don't. Without it, you get a website that the web designer will take your money and do, and like, okay, here you go. This is the best I could do with the nonsense you gave me. And then you have a website that doesn't get clients, that won't sell people, that confuses people. So yeah. Anyways, I'm just repeating myself. Thank you so much, everyone, again. And there's
Thank
more.
you.
Yeah, there's more things coming up this week. If you check the events tab, you'll see there's quite a bit of things coming up this week, but also in the coming weeks. And so thank you, everyone. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.